Hi there YouTubers, welcome to another servicing video from SORT 6233, the Society for the Restoration of Trains. Now, I'm not normally known for working on American outline, but this was at a model railway show. I think it was the Aberdeen one. It says in a packet, non-runner, £12, I'm grabbing that, thank you very much. And it's an Atlas, if I remember rightly. Yes, it's Atlas. It says here made in Yugoslavia, and it's SD45 diesel, obviously, and non-runner. So let's see what we can do with it. Well, sitting on the rolling road, turn power one way. Don't know if you can hear that, but something is trying to run internally. But I don't see much. Oh yes, I can see the wheels going here and there. So something's working. It stopped. In reverse. It is going very sluggishly. Might just need a good old clean up. I don't see much happening at the other end. Alright. As they say, let's get the top off. Not having worked on one of these before, I'm just going to take my way gingerly. There seem to be a couple of clips there. I don't see any. Oh, I said I don't see any retaining screws, but if that isn't a retaining screw, then I'm not sure what would be. Let's see what happens when we remove this center screw. This plate comes off, and I've given this bit here. Right, so there's still something else. Now notice these little clips here and here and on the other side. I also just realised that there's a handrail here, but no handrail there. Not that it affects the performance at the moment, but if I want to restore it, I might need to find. And someone's just driven past with the big 4x4s. It's fine. Right. Quick pause, and I'll be back as soon as I figure this one out. Clips do seem to have an effect, and there we are. The inside, and the motor only driving one set of axles, which is why I was only getting drive on one set. Okay, quite a weight in the body shell. This bit here quite light. Not a lot taking place here. bogies appear to be held on by a pin through the turret. They are wired in, so it's not just a simple case of taking them out. Okay. This turret is held in by a locking screw. Right, contact is made from wires to the base of the motor, and these seem to be making contact there. Okay, I'll try again. Well, the motor seems lively enough. Of course, I've removed this bogie, so it's probably not making good contact with the gears. So let me just reconnect that and see if it makes a difference. Seems to be going at all. Okay, right. What I'm going to do is remove this bogie again. And just not coming out as easy this time. Maybe I need to just push further through. It's okay. And there. And here we go. Now, I need to somehow disconnect these wires. Idle gear, keep it on side. I've removed the bogie, quite a simple arrangement, but one thing I see is that 4 of the wheels seem to have traction tyres fitted, and 2 wheels are open for pickups, and this wheel here seems to be absolutely covered in gunge. So that's not going to help the pickup very easily. In fact, I can just scrape a lot of this gunge off, so it's obviously not been serviced in a while. So let me continue cleaning this one, and I'll check out the rest of the gearing and give it a wee bit of lubrication, and then we'll move on. Testing the motor itself, I find it responds reasonably well. Just put a wee bit of power in. And there it is. Let's take it off a wee bit, and it still responds. It's about 30%. Don't want to run it too heavy offload, of course. Take it in the other way. It's about halfway to get it started, and then we can take it back a wee bit. And it's pretty free there. So the motor seemed to fine. I've given a little bit of lubrication along the shaft at the bearings here and in the internal bearings there. So just let that run for a few minutes, and then we'll have a look at the other bogie here. Looking at the wheels in this bogie, you can see a build up of oil and grease here. This is absolutely packed out. Some of the others aren't too bad, so these will need a good fuel clean and a bit of lubrication there. So I'll get that attended to, and I'll show you the results. In testing the bogie, I discovered two things. One is that the centre axle was quite reluctant to rotate as I moved the bogie back forward. And the second thing I noticed is that in the leading axle, the wheels turned independently. So I took them out. What you have to do is take the wheels off the axles. They are nylon axles, and then this splits into two halves. I found that the front wheel came loose from the nylon spindle, and in this one here just simply need a bit of care. So what I've done is I've taken the axle from the centre and moved it to the front, and moved the axle from the front and moved it to the centre, so that the wheel that moves independently is now in the centre, and that the other two axles work together. And if I just rotate this or move it, you'll see that these two wheels don't move very well, but they move independently. So if I turn this one, they don't exactly move in sync because one is slightly looser on the spindle. However, that's all lubricated again, cleaned the wheels, checked out the contacts. I'm all ready to rebuild it again. With the SD45 sitting on the track, I'm going to apply a little bit of power, and she sets off easily enough, but then it starts to struggle, especially with the points. And I think the reason for that is that in the case there's a lot of weight, and I think it just needs a bit of ballast to hold it on the track. So there are two pieces of ballast. There's this one here. If I can find, where are we? I've lost it. There it is. Yeah, this one goes at the back, sits over the motor shaft, and there's one that sits about the centre, and that holds the rear of the motor in place, because this bit of the motor is actually unfixed. It's only fixed there, and the motor has a tendency to kind of move about there. So let's try it this time, applying power, and you can see the difference it makes. Quite low power, and it's making its way around the bend, up the left hand straight and along the back. It's not the quickest loco I've come across, but then that might be the design. I don't think these locos are meant for speed, meant for power, but there's not really much wrong with that at all. I'm very pleased to get that working. It's a nice looking locomotive. Let me just put a little bit more power on it. And here it comes again. And this time we'll take it out, and then we will just simply reverse the power. And smooth as you like. So let me run that round the back and just see what's happening. There we go, behind my box of bits and bobs, and here it is. Okay, so that's my ST45 up and running. Good. I mentioned earlier the light doesn't work, and I thought I might replace that with an LED. So I've got a 3mm white and I've got an 820 ohm resistor. So if I put those in place of the LED, hopefully that should give me a working light. So I need to kind of trim the leads and solder them up together, and then find out how to contact them. As I showed earlier, the wires from the light into the power that go underneath the motor, they've actually been split to go on to, oops, my finger's in the way, my tabs, these tabs here. So it's not a separate lead, but I can trim that off and then hook them up. The step I'm going to do is I've just disconnected the wires from the tabs on the pickup bogie, like so, and you can see how the wires have been split. So I'm going to remove the light side of it and keep the contact leads. I've wired the LED up so that when it moves forward, and you can tell by the movement of the spindle, then the light actually comes on. You just about see that under the glare, and if I put it into reverse, the LED stays off. So all I have to do now is form the leads so that it fits inside the cab and behind the light. So let me do that now, and I'll show you the final result. Forward direction, lamp on, reverse direction, no lamp. Overall, doesn't work too badly. Now to reassemble my Atlas ST45, there are two weights that must be positioned beside the motor. This one here sits over the shaft, and this one holds the one end of the motor in place, and it fits over a couple of little lugs here to kind of stabilize it so that the weights allow better traction. The motor body simply sits over the top, and slide it down gently, making sure that I don't foul the lamp or the wires. And there are little clips that should hold it in place. So as I maneuver this, trying to look out for every bit of it, making sure that one of the leads has fallen out of place. I suppose that could happen in there. Then try and bring it out a wee bit, trying to keep the body lined up like so, and there we are, and the lead has become filled at the front, so I just have to reach in and drop back so that it sits down there, and then there are clips along the body on both sides that hold it in place. The cab roof I think just clips into place. It kind of fell away when I was working on it, so let me just make sure. Yes, there's a little pin in the window frame that sits into the cab roof. And there we go. I'll look closer. And that doesn't look too bad. It's a nice clean looking machine. And the handrail, as I said, missing from one side. But I can live with that. So the last task, get it back on the track and let's see it run and maybe haul a little bit of freight. As I was testing my ST45, I came across an interesting phenomenon, and that is when it was going over the points, it would jump the points, and I think it has to do with the resistance which is in this front bogie, which is where I've wired my LED, which is on stiff LED wires. So I'm going to have to rethink this and replace those stiff wires with more flexible wires, such as the wires which were on the original lamp, which are very flexible. So, as I said, I've hooked up some very thin flexible wires. I got these off an old DCC decoder, and they've allowed me flexibility. I've tested it out, it works well. The bogie swivels with the points and doesn't snag, and therefore I think that's pretty good. So I'm just going to rebuild it and we'll try it in situ. Whoops. Not much wrong with my little SD45 now. It's got Yugoslavia printed in the base of it, and I think in the political scene that means this must be about 20-30 years old. Looking in nice condition. And one thing I need to suggest is that when you're working with something like this and you're using the lead weights, make sure that you wash your hands before you eat anything, just to prevent any lead contamination. That's the health and safety out of the way. Now let's enjoy. Yeah, that's lovely. So, bit of tender loving care. Replaced the buffer, the coupler, sorry, replaced the lamp. It's not the best headlamp I've got, but it'll do for me. I'm just quite enjoy just using this now and again. And that's it. That's all it took. That's a bit more time consuming than it sounds, but that's it there. Hope you enjoyed that, folks. American outline, SD45 I should say. Can't remember the livery, so let's just zoom in a wee bit. Oops. Yeah, that wasn't very good camera work. Never mind, never mind. For final test, I'm just going to hook up a few little freight wagons. I pick up my little locomotive as it comes round the bend. It's on the down line, and I've got a little rake of freight wagons following it, and that doesn't look too bad at all. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that little video, folks. Hope it's of help to somebody if you're working on one of these. I've enjoyed building up again. Don't normally do American outline, but it's all part and parcel, isn't it? Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already to keep up with more servicing videos. Hopefully you'll give me a like, and any comments, make them favourable or justifiably critical, and I'll try and respond to them as best I can. Meantime, thanks for watching. Keep watching YouTube, and bye for now.